Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose, and I'm here to share your daily astrology with a little help from Tarot. Here, I'll discuss the Tarot card that sits on the side of the page. I'll make a quick review of the day's astrology, and then I'll follow up by playing another card, which usually gives us a little something more to think about. So let's get into it. The tarot card that sits on the side of the page right now is the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups astrologically represents the last 10 days or the third decan of the sun's transit in Cancer. Cancer is a water sign. Cups in tarot are the water element. Water element symbolism is about our emotional lives, those things we think, feel, know, and intuit, the stuff that's happening on the inside, the kind of reaction and processing of the things that happen in our experience. And here we see with the Four of Cups a person who is who appears to be in contemplation and who may be sort of apathetic or over it when it comes to having these creative, emotional, or intuitive experiences, right? So we see this person sort of sitting here with their arms crossed, almost as though something has not been satisfying or something has been too much. There's a sort of an I have had enough ness to that pose. So they look at these three cups, and we can't tell whether they can see that fourth cup sort of coming in. They're looking down here, and the way I see it, it's like they've had these experiences now, and perhaps it was a little bit much. Sometimes when I have, a bunch of really emotional experiences or creative or intuitive experiences, I feel like I need a breather. I need to pause and pull back and sort of process the experiences that I have had, so that I can then, feel better about accepting new experiences in, also kind of on my terms based on my assessment of what went before, right? So, it's valid to pause and reflect and sort of decide how we feel about things and what we think about things, but we don't want to become so detached that we are ignoring the potential for joy or other awesome gifts, in terms of especially creativity, intuitive gifts, and emotional gifts to come in, okay? And, here's the thing. We can spend this time in contemplation, and after a while, if we don't come out of this contemplation and we don't seem to be open to any new experiences, then we start to look like we are apathetic or like we don't really care, okay? So we don't want to get to that place of not caring, or we don't want to get to that place of people thinking that we don't care either, because when people think that you don't care, they'll do and say all kind of strange things. So with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle some cards while I remind myself. And the cards that the sun is in Cancer, here we are in the last decan, or the last 10 days of the sun's transit in Cancer. Themes of nurturance and protection should be very much on the plate in our memories, and perhaps even a little more intense for us in our daily lives right now. Our outer life at this time and our inner life can kind of blend together, because Cancer actually rules the moon, which is the inner life, and right now it's ruling the sun, which is the outer life, or the sun is at least in that sign. So, don't be surprised if what's happening out in the world sort of bleeds over into your private life, or if what happens in your home sort of like boils over into your public life. In either case, you are now empowered to put up a good defense if you need to, for whatever or whomever is most precious to you. Mercury is also in Cancer. Both of these planets, Sun and Mercury, are going to move out of Cancer and into Leo next week. So it will be Mercury first. Our thoughts and plans have been filtered through our emotions, which can leave us feeling kind of really certain about how we feel, but not necessarily clear on how we should get it across. Right now is a good time to think about gentle but really clear and obvious ways of relating to others for now. The waning gibbous moon today starts in Aquarius, makes ingress to Pisces pretty early this morning, 3:18 this morning. And that's the last sign of the zodiac front. So it's an end of a lunar cycle in terms of the moon going through all of the signs in the space of a month. So we can think of this as an opportunity to process, all the stuff that went on for us, especially when it comes to emotion and creative experiences, and begin to write the narrative for ourselves. And on the moon side of the page today, early this morning, like I said, moon makes ingress to Pisces. It's a really good time to sort of sit back, relax, reflect on how things have gone, and give ourselves a chance to reboot. Because in 2.5 days, that moon's going to go into Aries, and Aries is going to get us moving forward again. And then this afternoon, around 4:37, moon goes sextile to Mars. This can be definitely, our feelings and our desire to take action are in this cooperative vibe together. We're really willing to work for it, okay? We feel like taking action. It can be kind of a sexy vibe. And, Mars, where Mars is involved, that sexy intimacy is always on the table, or almost always on the table. So just remember, Sun in Cancer, this is a very fertile time, okay? Mind your seed and where you spread it, friends. We have some fresh aspects on the Sun side of the page as well. The Sun goes quincunx to Saturn today, early this morning. And it's really a guide to, this really says we might be feeling sort of the burden of the commitments we've made. And at this point, we might be working so hard that we feel exhausted. It saps our health. It might be sapping our material resources. It's okay to pull back and conserve a little, whatever it is that we're working on right now. It might just take some time, and it might turn out that sort of throwing money or throwing more work at it right now will just bring frustration in the long run. So slow and steady wins the race on that one. And then Mercury goes quincunx to Saturn this morning. And, this can be a really frustrating vibe. It can feel a little bit low or kind of depressing because either because of the information that's coming in, or because we don't feel like we can act on it the way we'd like to. We feel restricted in some way. Mercury goes fast, and Saturn always slows things down, so there's this sort of tension of wanting to move forward but not really being able to go the pace we want to go. It might be helpful to us, it might behoove us to just adopt a slower pace, okay? Just go a little more slow and steady, like I said, and realize that some of these problems that we are encountering are not just going to be solved by working harder or throwing money at it. Sometimes we just have to give it time, give it a little time to unfold, okay? And then this afternoon, Sun goes conjunct to Mercury. The Sun's light reveals all, and Mercury is like, yes, information, I want to see it all, give me all the data. So we can be very perceptive right now. It's a level of clarity that can be intense. That conjunct intensifies both the outer life vibe and the thoughts, plans, and communication vibe, okay? And because we've got this quincunx action up here that's saying, slow down, follow through, please don't hurry, it probably won't help to throw any more money or work at this, just slow and steady wins the race, right? So I wouldn't be using this sort of level of clarity to just try and get things done faster. I would be using it to plan ahead, okay? So if we're slowed down, then we have time to put in the work and plan ahead for what happens next. And in the ongoing column, Sun is sextile to Uranus, and so is Mercury. All of this is just through today. So, for a while there, Sun and Mercury are also square to Chiron, and we're struggling a little bit with feeling like we had the right space and the right support to express ourselves genuinely. And now that's gone. Hopefully we figured it out that we could just sort of shift our attention to being able to express ourselves genuinely perhaps in a different space or among different people, sort of switch up our own game rather than trying to change other people or businesses or institutions. So here we are in this sextile vibe with Uranus. There are some clever things that we have on our mind, and it's a good time to try them out. So if you've got something new or different that you're planning, it's a great time to be getting into that. Venus is in aspect with all three of our retrograde planets right now. Okay, so Venus trine to Saturn here. We are attracting a lot of really solid options for ourselves. And that's about material security and about our potential for relationships. There's nothing wrong with wanting someone or something that makes you feel supported, and it doesn't make you a bad person or a sellout to earn money doing something that's both good for you and your bank account, all right? So keep that in mind. We're drawing toward us options in both money and relationships that represent sort of practical, solid, supportive people and situations. And sometimes, if you've never been the person to go for what just seems tried and true or traditional, sometimes it feels kind of weird to be drawing that kind of stuff toward you and to be like, hey, I like being well-resourced. I like feeling supported. I could get used to it. And then you look around and you're like, oh no, I'm afraid I might be selling out. It's okay to want things that feel supportive, all right? There's nothing wrong with that. Go ahead and go for it. Venus's aspects with Neptune and Pluto both bring in different expressions of insecurity, even maybe low self-esteem. So with the square to Neptune retrograde, we can probably see right through anything that's telling us that, we might look bad to other people when we start to do better for ourselves. But this Venus quincunx Pluto is a little bit of a hazard. It's a little bit like we don't want to sabotage ourselves when it comes to those sort of material upgrades by acting jealous or possessive about the gifts we're receiving, or those stable influences and people that we've drawn to us. Okay, we don't want to get too grasping or needy about those things, or we might sabotage ourselves and chase them away from us. Pluto is retrograde, and this is an opportunity to notice any of those tendencies we have to sort of grasp or hold on to or to hoard the nice things we've drawn toward ourselves. Okay, we don't keep nice things or nice people in our lives by locking them down and making them unable to express themselves in the world, or making it by not sharing. Okay, so if you are able to keep someone by being possessive like that, it kind of taints the relationship anyway, and then it's no longer so much of an enchantment, right? So we have to learn to celebrate and share whatever it is that we are the most attached to, or whatever it is, the good things that we have drawn to us. And when we do that, we can set ourselves free from attachments that bog us down and hold us back, because sometimes it's not the attachment so much as it is our overwhelming attachment to that attachment, right? It's the desire to hold it close and to keep it safe and away from anybody or anything else. Saturn is retrograde in Aquarius, and it wants us to think about how we relate and participate on the community level. How do we represent ourselves when we're out in public, when we're enjoying community spaces? Are we open to friendly and harmless interactions that help us and others feel that sense of connection that brings about the sense of community with others? Those are questions that we're asking right now. Neptune is retrograde also through the 23rd of December, and this is our opportunity to see ourselves, our emotional and intuitive lives especially, as they really are, and to create from that space of clarity about our heart's desire. So, sometimes we become accustomed to sort of fooling ourselves, or to being fooled, to living in an illusion, a dream, or a fantasy, and we kind of hate to part ways with that. But it is for our own good, because we have to be engaged in reality to truly manifest our dreams, right? Okay, and with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and turn this card. We got the Nine of Rods. Third day in a row, we've got a Rods card. Okay, so it's water and fire again, friends. Nine of Rods has a sort of very accomplished and somewhat defensive feel to it, okay? You worked hard to garner all of those achievements, right? You took advantage of a lot of passion and drive and momentum and spirit and fire to get there. And you know, now you have a lot of experience to show for it. And you know, the Nine of Rods, the person typically, you can't see very clearly in this picture, but it typically looks like they're wearing a bandage around their head of some kind. Just saying that those were hard-won achievements, right? And so we may not be really willing yet to lay them down or to think of them as behind us, but we are close to the end of the tail of the wands here. So, you know, there's a warning here to sort of go ahead and start looking ahead to the future, because, you know, it's not this experience necessarily that's going to carry us forward. Okay, we're going to have to be willing and ready at some point to drop our defense of what we know and where we've already been so that we can learn anew. Yes, so, you know, I kind of see this in the context of these Sun and Mercury aspects right now. You know, we want to keep moving forward. We want to maintain a certain pace. We feel like things are going really well for us. But then these quincunx come in, and they both just kind of slow us down a little bit. They ask us to conserve our body. They ask us to conserve our money. And they ask us to also, you know, sort of slow down and allow things to take their time. And hopefully by the time we're as experienced as the person in the Nine of Rods is, that we can see the benefit of slowing down and allowing things to unfold a little bit. But we also get this boon in this conjunct of Sun and Mercury that gives us this real sharp clarity of sort of foresight, being able to see what's coming up and being able to plan for the future. Taken together with the Four of Cups. What do I see here? You know, the person in the Four of Cups looks like either they don't care at all, or like they're not sure how much they care, or they're not sure if they want to continue to apply as much care to things as they have in the past. Nine of Rods says, you know, yes, I care very much. I worked hard for these accomplishments, and I stand behind them and they stand behind me. It's kind of a defensive position. It's almost like, you know, somebody wants to try to move your trophy case out of your office, and you're like, hey, those are my trophies, right? So I would say that there's a balance to be struck, right, between not caring very much or not wanting to apply a lot of emotional investment to the things that we're working on, or to the gifts or the offers that are coming in, not really wanting to be all that invested. And then the Nine of Rods saying, I'm very invested in the things that I have accomplished, the things that I have actively done. So, you know, we want to land somewhere, hopefully in the middle between complete apathy and, you know, caring so much that, you know, that we don't see a way forward except, you know, with all of the accomplishments we've already made, right? In both cases, one way or another, eventually we're going to have to give up how we feel about, you know, these cups or these wands, and we're going to have to be open to something new coming in, right? So this is emotions and intuitive and creative experiences. And this is spark, drive, spirit, passion, passionate experiences. There's a lot of creativity that comes out of both, right? You kind of need both to create something new. That drive and that will to feel connected to what you're doing. And, you know, we don't just want to stand aside and be defensive of ourselves when there are new possibilities on offer. And we may be looking at everything that we've done and just saying, I'm proud of that and it's good enough. Or maybe looking at everything we've been through and saying, gosh, that was a lot. I don't know if I want anymore, right? But still new opportunities are going to continue to come in, and we want to be open to them because we don't want to deny ourselves opportunities for joy, you know, the potential to have really positive things happen in our lives, even if they're not things that we would have expected, planned for, or thought we desired. And I believe that's all I have to say about it today, friends. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I truly appreciate your presence here. My name is Melrose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today and Tarot.